Wolf's Lair. Behold, Wolf's Lair, one of Adolf Hitler's main headquarters. In this enormous Masurian complex of bunkers and barracks, the fate of World War II was being decided. From this place, Hitler commanded his forces on the Eastern Front, and it was here that he came close to death during the most famous assassination attempt of the Second World War. After the Germans destroyed the complex, to avoid it falling into enemy hands, they left the site covered with concrete rubble. The scope and magnitude of these buildings still stuns. Let's try to imagine, though, how this place looked and functioned as the command center for the Eastern Front, when thousands of people worked and lived here. To picture this better, we've used computer modeling. The 3D graphics will allow us to reconstruct the most important buildings of Wolf's Lair, and amongst them, the people that lived and worked here, including the person who was considered the most important of them all, Adolf Hitler. Construction and localization. The Germans built the headquarters in order to confront Soviet Russia. Not content with leaving the Wehrmacht in command, Hitler wanted to have full control over his forces' operations. The name Wolf's Lair, in German Wolfsschanze, comes from Adolf Hitler's party nickname, Herr Wolf. The Führer named his other headquarters in a similar fashion, the Werewolf, Wolf's Ravine, and Wolf's Ravine II. The area surrounding the village of Gierłoż, which lies to the east of Kętrzyn, or rather Rastenburg, as it was then called, was chosen as the location for the headquarters. This was the unforgiving territory of Eastern Prussia. Swampy, hilly, covered by a thick mixed forest, the terrain was very difficult for the designers and builders, but it also provided natural camouflage for the complex, as well as making it easier to defend from paratrooper attack. The headquarters were also protected from land attack by a belt of great Masurian lakes. Nearby road and railway links had a significant impact on the construction because they allowed machines and materials to be transported directly to the site. Moreover, the terrain was sparsely populated, so the entire operation could be executed without the need for large-scale resettlement of the local population. One of the priorities during the construction process was to keep the headquarters location a secret. However, even when the Allies established the whereabouts of the complex, they decided against bombing it. The entire site was covered using an advanced technique of camouflaging with plants. The flat roofs of the bunker had hollows, in which a layer of earth was placed. In this soil, trees, grass, bushes, not to mention fake foliage, was planted, which were maintained by a gardening company from Stuttgart. The terrain was also secured with masking nets. These nets were stretched over the buildings, and also between them and the surrounding foliage. For the regular inhabitants of Wolf's Lair, the area had many drawbacks. Annoying, pervasive moisture, mosquitoes breeding in the swamps. Swats and mosquito nets were the only weapons against such creatures. An interesting story concerning mosquitoes was found in the memoirs of Hans Bauer, who was Adolf Hitler's pilot. At one time, a couple of hundred liters of oil were pumped into the swamps near Hitler's bunker. Many mosquito larvae were destroyed this way, but not so many as to make a difference. The frogs of the swamp, however, a natural predator of the mosquito, were decimated. Hitler noticed the sudden lack of their nighttime concerts, and upon inquiring, was told what had happened to them, he immediately branded the originators of this plan idiots. The frogs had caught thousands of mosquitoes daily, he stormed. Now the frogs had been annihilated, while the mosquitoes remained. After this disaster, the swamps were drained, filled with clean water, and resettled with frogs once again. Hitler's main headquarters surface spread for 2,500 square meters. To begin with, it consisted of just a few relatively modest above-ground bunkers. As the war with the Soviet Union continued, however, the headquarters became susceptible to bombing, so Hitler ordered their expansion and an increase in security at a furious pace. A major characteristic of Wolf's Lair was that it had basements, but no underground shelters or tunnels connecting the bunkers. It's likely that the main obstacle to this was swampy ground. Although there are those who would say that Wolf's Lair has not yielded all of its secrets as yet. The order to begin construction was given by Hitler in late 1940. It was codenamed Askania Nord, which was what the new chemical works that were being used as a cover for Wolf's Lair were named. The German paramilitary organization of Todt directed the project. It also commissioned specialized German companies to carry out part of the work.